Let's go over another problem. The Mets problem, or the Bernie Madoff problem, or the Bobby Bonilla problem. I have no doubts whatsoever that you're able to do these calculations and that you can figure out what future cash flows are actually worth today. The key is, can you apply these to real problems? And there are problems going on every day that are related to net present value. And so it's an opportunity for you to use your skills. Well, the big issue with Bobby Bonilla is, should they pay him now or pay him later? I mean, what's the best deal for it? And so what you're really doing is comparing what I pay out to Bobby Bonilla. Is it going to be more or less than if I just count on investments coming in? Like, for example, this is the way companies do debt. And if they're sure they're going to make money off of it, so they take debt on for 4%, but if they use that money, they know they're going to make 10% back. And that's pretty much what the Mets are doing here. So there's three situations. It's around 1996 or 95. Correct my dates if they're wrong. But seems like it's a big, complicated problem, and it's really not. Maintain your discipline. So the core case is if I pay $5.9 million, and then the next year he gets paid $5.9 million. So this is a critical date because he got paid for his last year. And next year, what are the Mets going to pay him? They pay off his salary and they're done with him. So actually, how much does Bonilla get? If you remember net present value, what net present value are we using to compare it to? The long-term bond rate. And that's it. What if I didn't invest in any of this? What if I just put this in long-term bonds? How much is it worth? So I got 4%. Now you might want to convert these years over into numerical years. So 1996 is year one, 92 is year two, and so on. I just did that as an illustration. So the Mets would be paying out. Bonilla would be getting about $5.67 million. Because not only is this a good deal for the Mets, also is a good deal for Bonilla. So Bonilla gets his minus $5.9 million here. And then he doesn't get paid. And he doesn't get paid for a long time. So if you're confused about the number of years or what year number or whatever, brute force it. So all these years he's getting 0. Then 2011, he's suddenly getting 1.2 million, 1.2 million, 1.2 million. Now let's say this is year 15. So how much is that 1.2 million actually worth? Well, it's equal to this, divided by 1 plus 0.04, raised 2, 15th power. So he's actually getting about half what he should be getting by deferring all that money. Now Madoff, what are they going to do with his money? Well, all of a sudden, they now have 5.9 million that they weren't counting on having. And so what's going to happen with Madoff is that Madoff is going to get, they're going to make 10% off of what? Because now this is just pure interest payments. I made a mistake. Put these dollar signs in if you don't want the cell location to change. And this goes on forever and ever and ever. Now, I'm not going to penalize you if you do this, but you could say, but Dr. Cho, isn't that money compounded? And you're absolutely right. So what it means is that the original 5.9 million how much money is he making the next year? Well, the total number is that you get your 10% off is all cash flows. And that's given by this equation here. As you can see, does this look right? Let's see. This plus the sum. Oh, I don't need this. That's why it looks so high. So if you think about it, the 10% that you're making off the next year, and this is a year off, is this, and that's 0.649. So if you see, if you compound it, meaning the money you made this year you reinvest back, you can see it really starts multiplying in a hurry. For you though, I didn't talk about compounding at all, so as far as I'm concerned, if this was a finance course, it'd be a little different. But you could just use the straight number. And so this goes out for years and years and years and years until we get to the end of the Madoff contract. And so what you could do is you could sum up all the money they made off Madoff and then figure out how much they paid Bonilla and see, is that number positive or is it negative, and how much greater is it? And then you compare Bonilla, how much, if they just paid them off up front, than waiting all these years in advance. Now, the thing you have to do with your Madoff money, though, is naturally all these numbers have to be discounted because that goes off into the future. So these numbers start to shrink over time also. If you have any questions, just let me know, but that's the way you do that problem.